Hi, I'm Iris Smith and welcome to celiacdisease.tips. Tonight we're going to do a nice dish that's simple and easy if you're really busy and you want to stay gluten-free. This is a great recipe for you. It's healthy and quick and very little cleanup. Let's do it. So tonight I'm going to make a really simple meal that's healthy and, as I said, easy to prepare. I'm going to be making what I do is in my rotisserie is a rotisserie chicken. And when you make a chicken in the rotisserie, you can do any flavor you want. Tonight I'm going to be doing barbecue flavor. You can do salt and pepper, you can do lemon pepper, you can do whatever you want. If you don't happen to have a rotisserie, you can also do this in the oven. And what you would want to do is you'd want to put it on a baking sheet, the chicken, and you'd want to cook it for about an hour and a half, uncovered, maybe at 350 or 400, and maybe at the last 10 minutes of the cooking cycle, you want to just put it on broil, just to get the top nice and crispy, like it would be in the rotisserie. But I happen to have a rotisserie, and when I put a whole chicken in my rotisserie, it takes about an hour. So you're talking about an hour of preparation, and you're not even working the whole time when you're preparing this dinner. Along with the rotisserie chicken, I'm going to be making baked potato for my husband, and a sweet potato for me because I prefer the sweet potato over the regular potato. It's less inflammatory. And then I'm also, to save time, oftentimes I'll get a cabbage head and we'll cut it up from scratch. But when we're in a hurry, we just buy a bag mix of coleslaw mix. And I make my own dressing, mix it together, and then there you have coleslaw. This is my coleslaw dressing, and basically what it is, it's a half a cup of mayonnaise. I use a gluten-free version. A third of a cup of sugar it calls for, but I use agave because it's lower in glycemic. Doesn't seem to bother your blood sugar as much. I use, it calls for milk, and instead of milk I use almond milk, which is lower in fat, and it's also good if you have dairy issues. And then it also calls for another quarter of a cup of buttermilk. But instead what I do is I do a whole half a cup of almond milk instead of doing a quarter cup of milk and a quarter cup of buttermilk. It's a little too fatty for somebody who struggles with cholesterol. But you can do it that way. I also add 2.5 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, 1.5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. This recipe can call for salt, but I oftentimes don't put salt in because I don't use salt due to the fact that the sodium can be a little bit much. I just add a little bit of black pepper, and all you need to do is shake it, just like that. You just need to put a little bit in. And then you whisk it all together, and then toward the end you can add about a tablespoon of onion powder, and then just a sprinkle of celery seed to give it some nice flavor for the coleslaw. And that's it. So that's your coleslaw dressing that you'll add to this mix. So we're going to put the baked potato and the sweet potato in the oven at 400 or 350. 400 tends to make it cook a little quicker. I'm going to open up my coleslaw. Pour it in the bowl here. Toss this in the trash. Give this another whirl of mixing. Pour it in. And then mix it all together. So now my potatoes are in the oven. I've got my coleslaw mixed. And the next thing I'm going to do is my chicken. Okay, so now I'm ready to prepare my roasting chicken or rotisserie chicken. In my case, it's a rotisserie. And here's the chicken all ready to go. And basically what I do is I pour olive oil in my hands and get it going in my hands a little bit and just massage it into the chicken all over it, all over the wings, all over the legs, all over the bottom. And oftentimes my husband helps me with that by holding it. And we put it on the skewers, and we use a little bit of butcher's twine that we get from the butcher to tie up the wings and the legs so that as it's doing the rotisserie thing, it doesn't drop and get caught and stop the process. And then after we put the olive oil on, then I'm going to do just a little bit of barbecue sauce, because that's the flavor that I've chosen to do. And then I'll just put a little bit of fresh black pepper, sprinkle it around a little bit, do a little bit of salt, and goes into the rotisserie for about an hour, and then it's ready. So at the same time, the potatoes are cooking, the chicken is cooking, your coleslaw is done. You have a whole hour to sit and relax while it's being made. Okay, so now my coleslaw is all mixed and it's all ready to be refrigerated for 1 hour while the chicken cooks and the baked potatoes cook. I'm going to refrigerate that for that length of time. And my rotisserie chicken is in the rotisserie and it's ready to go. And as I said before, what I did was I massaged olive oil all over the chicken before I put the barbecue sauce on. The reason I do that is it tends to make it crispier. And then the only other thing I did was I took a brush and I brushed the chicken all around with the barbecue sauce. And then I coated the top with some black pepper. And now it's ready to be cooked. So this will cook for an hour, the potatoes will cook for an hour, and the coleslaw is in the refrigerator chilling for an hour. And in that hour of time, you can either relax or do something else. If you have children, you can tend to them. We're a little older, so we tend to like to just sit down and relax for a little while after a long day. And then your dinner is ready. Okay, so the rotisserie chicken has been cooking for an hour. The buzzer has just gone off. I believe it's ready. So I'm going to check it. Boy, it smells really good. I wish you could smell this. This is great. And so usually a chicken this size, it's about a 4 or 5 pound chicken. Usually takes about an hour in the rotisserie. But to be sure that it is ready, oftentimes I'll use a meat thermometer to check it just to be sure. You can do the same thing if you're cooking your chicken in the oven. This is what a thermometer looks like, and they're easy to use. And it says on the thermometer, poultry, lamb, beef. It's pretty clear to use. Okay, so we have a rotisserie chicken done with barbecue sauce, a sweet potato, a baked potato with a little dollop of sour cream each, and my coleslaw. And the prep time for this, by the way, took me about 15 minutes, just so you know. The cooking time between the potato and the chicken took an hour, but during that hour time you can do other things, as I said. Anyway, for more information on this particular recipe, you can find it on my blog at celiacdisease.tips. Thanks for sharing this with me.